I think I'm now part of his groupie club because I'm just addicted to his music. We got this about 2 weeks ago from California by Castella. I was just like hypnotized with Find My Father after I think I played it like 3 or 4 times in a row. Well, and as I said before, I'm getting a bad reputation because a lot of my guests seems to be from California in the last year, and well, they have to wake up earlier because we are in Montreal and we've got a 3-hour time difference. But anyways, he's there. Dr. Gabe, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Teerex land. This is so exciting. I'm stoked.
I'm so happy to talk to you because I really have a very personal problem I have to talk to you about.
Oh,
no, I'm joking.
We can either do it on the couch or we can do it in the studio. Whichever you want. I'm here for all seasons, baby.
Actually, I love your laugh. You have a really, really contagious laughter. I went into a Sahara expedition to find out who's Dr. Gabe. And gee whiz, you certainly won't have a problem in your life having a job.
Hey, this economy, that's really good to know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, for all of you, Jeff Clark in Pittsburgh, good morning to you on Facebook. Dr. Gabe does many things. As a matter of fact, I don't know how he managed to do it all, but it seems that he does. He's a singer, of course, writer, musician, also licensed forensic neuropsychologist and a clinical assistant professor at the University of Southern California, where he lectured neuropsychology and research. And he's been consulted by many known personalities throughout their shows, like the Oprah Winfrey Network, Spike TV, The Doctors, Fox Network, Women's Health Magazine, and so forth and so on. So how did you decide, Dr. Gabe, you had to throw some music in there?
You know, Michael, first, let me just real quickly say thank you very much. I want you to know you are my first official interview on the music side of my life, and I thank you big time.
Really?
But yes. I mean, I've done, TV and things like that, but there was no music attached to it. I was born a musician. I became a doctor. My first recollection was 1 year old, sitting in front of a piano, screaming my lungs out and banging on the piano.
Okay.
And from there, I went on. Yeah, seriously, that's my first recollection of being in the world on this planet. And I went on to pursue music. I was, a musician in my Pentecostal church in Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to Ohio. Mm-hmm. My brother and sister, Renee and Ronald. But my mother was a musician, and she pushed music. I sang with my brother and sister in a gospel group, and kept it going. Ended up in California with gospel great contemporary artist Andre Crouch. Mm-hmm. Left there and went got my first deal as a writer on PH Factor with Epic and Word Records, and then got scared of the industry. Oh my God, because it's a beast, Michael. And it's a beast. And I got really afraid when I saw that first CD with my name on it and realized that my dream came true. I was a kid from Cincinnati that wanted to hear my music on the radio. What do you do after that?
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying, because this morning I was reading on Instagram, Shirley Jones Girls just released a new single, and she was kind of giving advice to people who want to become artists and stuff, and she was saying, learn the music business first before you do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sign your own checks.
Yes.
I don't care what they tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, as well as right now, there's some legal things with the Isley brothers, the two brothers that are at each other's neck or something for. So the business side is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, when I got back into it, there's a singer, Charlotte Pope, and Castella.
Yeah.
I met her. I was playing at a church in Long Beach, and I was in front of the choir, and I heard this voice in the alto section. And I was like, who is that? Because I knew whoever that was would blend so well with Charlotte Pope. And Charlotte has been with me since our West Angeles days, Patrick Henderson days, all that stuff. And the two of those girls together, that's what you're hearing on Part of Yours. And when I got back into the business, I just went for it. And Daryl Swan, producer, and Jeff Kennedy out of Detroit, who put that the other music together with Part of Yours. We got a lot of stuff coming out, but my sound doesn't work without those two women. I'm telling you, Charlotte Pope and Castella.
Oh yeah, they're on Find My Father. I mean, it's a powerhouse. These two ladies.
Man, me and Castella, and that's a labor of love. And actually, I had written that song. I was mad at my daddy. I had not healed from him yet. That's a true song. All of those things happened between me and my brother and sister. And it was actually for a television show that I was up for. And I wrote that as a theme song or a song in the show. Abandoned it for a while. And by the time I recorded it, I was healed. And so music and psychology is what I'm doing, Michael. I'm blending it together. I've been a doctor for a very long time, but I've been a musician all of my life. And I want to put those two worlds together. And that's my mission, music as therapy, a therapeutic tool. When talking doesn't work and laying out on my couch doesn't work and me doing psychosurgery on your brain doesn't work. Baby, I'm going to tell you right now, like Quincy Jones says, we need music like we need air and water. That's true.
Oh, yeah. I'm completely convinced of that. I mean, sometimes we go through difficult times in life, separations, whatever, stuff like that, and we always cling on to music to go through it,
Yeah. And the idea that I could be on your show and you're playing, dude, I cannot tell you the thrill it is. Michael, you do so much for so many artists, buddy. I'm telling you, my hat's off to you because it means nothing to write a song and to be in the studio all those hours and spend all of that money. If you don't have great DJs like you with these great radio shows, to promote us. Well, first of all, I'm glad you like the music. Let's start there. Because you could be like, Dr. Gabe, you suck. But I'm glad you don't think so. I'm so glad. Oh, man. So, I've been talking to, there's a woman, Tim Jones. She's a pastor of a church in Long Beach. And when I started out on this, there's so many people I could thank, but she got what I was trying to do. Music is nothing with me without a message. And I just had to be clear what my purpose was. You know what I mean? To come back, and to do this music now, after being away from it for years. Though I was always writing, I just wasn't performing it, and I wasn't sure if people, if there was an audience for it, if anybody wanted to hear what I had to say. You know what I mean? So this is really exciting for me, and it's validating, and I'm on cloud nine.
Well, good. I like that. So far, do you have an album or two or CDs out or something, or is this like singles?
I'm doing singles right now, and I am putting an album together. And I have hundreds of songs, and I'm putting that together. But my life as a doctor, a forensic doctor, and the work that I do with my patients is really important to me as well. And so trying to balance that, I can't begin to tell you how difficult that is. But we are in the process of doing the album, and Castella is off doing her thing. I don't know if she's going to even be willing to come back in the studio and work with little old me, but I
don't think there's a problem with that. No.
I hope not, because I really need her. So maybe if you ask her, Michael, then maybe she'll be down.
I mean, she's on Facebook right now. She's writing. Hold on. She says, "Please tell Dr. Gabe hello for me." That's the first thing. And then she writes, "You're phenomenal,
Hey,
Dr. Gabe." And then she writes, "He does have a lot of tunes. Stop it. I'm here for you." So there you go.
Hey, and now here we are on national radio, so she can't take it back. You hear that, Charlotte? Yeah, we're excited to really put all the music down. And I want to get to Canada and Europe and do that. I went through Europe some years ago as Dr. Gabe, doing psychology work, but I want to come back and hit Canada and do some of those things, in person, and really put something together where people can really, if people always talk to me about their problems anyway, so I figure, well, why don't I create a venue where they can talk to me about their problems half the time and we sing about it the other half of the time. I'm serious, though, And so we're getting ready for the podcast. It's going to be music and, of course, psychology. Ooh, it would be really cool, to have you on too. But I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah.
And,
I believe
it's exciting.
I believe in psychology. I've been in therapy for 30 years now.
Oh, good for you. I've been in therapy too. No, but you know what? People ask me a lot of times, Michael, they say, Dr. Gabe, when should I go to therapy? And my answer is when everything is going wrong and when absolutely nothing is going wrong.
Well,
it's the same principle.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like we all have to confide in someone. And, many years ago, well, it depends on your religious beliefs and stuff like that. But a long time ago here in Canada, we had the priest who was the one that we confirmed, But we became a laïc, I don't know how you say that in English, laïc, a society. And a lot of people have turned to psychologists, not necessarily because they have problems, but I find that developing a relationship with a psychologist is that you can really talk about really personal things, and you know that it's going to stay with one person, So so I really believe in psychology and therapy and that type and all that surrounds it. Yeah.
That's awesome, buddy. That's absolutely awesome. It's been good for me, and there was an opening, some years ago with television when I started in that arena, when psychology sort of really blew up. And many people call it pop psychology, but I like to believe, doing all the shows that I've done, that I've really opened up something in my own little way for people to not be so afraid to do the exploration, the self-exploration, and really tap into who you are. Why do you do what you do? Who do you love? What's going on with the relationship? What's happening with you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your daughter, you and your son? Find My Father was all about my relationship with my own dad. It's not that I don't have to work through this stuff too as a doctor. I know certain things and what things are called, but I still have to do the work myself. And it's important work, and I think that's what makes the world a better place. As we tap into who we are, and the more we love each other, the way I love me is how I'm going to love you. How I treat myself is how I'm going to treat you.
There's a commenter from Heidi on Facebook. She says, everything we do in our life has something to do with and how we perceive things. Interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting. Carl Jung, who is, a muckety-muck in psychology, marvelous. He was a disciple of Sigmund Freud, and everybody knows Freud. He had this theory contagion, which is if I go deep enough into your mind and deep enough into my mind, essentially we all are the same. That there's a connection that we all have. And it's that human connection, which is why the social animal needs to socialize. It just concerns me that depending on where we are in our mental state, either we are loving each other and embracing each other, or we are crashing into each other. And that's the the anger, and that's the disappointment, and that's the fear, and that's the jealousy, and the envy, and all that stuff. And a good therapist and some funky music can help you get through it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, Find My Father. So, where was this? Was this recorded virtually between all of you, or was this done in a studio altogether?
Oh no, we did it in a studio.
Okay.
We did it at Clear Lake Studio, right in the Valley, in Studio City, Daryl Swan's studio, and then I did the bass and the drums at Westlake Studio, same Westlake Studio, Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, when they did Thriller there, and I mean everybody's been there. I sat in Q's chair. We mixed it on Q's. You know, I mean they upgraded everything, but to be in that studio, Michael, oh my God, I can't even tell you. It was amazing. You can feel the spirit of greatness and energy. So it was very easy to do it. Costello and I were just standing right next to each other, singing our hearts out.
Well, it really transpires because that's really what we feel when we listen to this song. It is so energetic.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that, because that's the spirit in which we did. That is really cool. Really?
Oh yeah. For some reason, it makes me think a little bit of something like what Billy Preston would have done. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with him years ago.
Okay.
I sure did. He was on the organ, I was on the piano.
Cool. It's something on biography. I mean, you have to explain me to this. What is tattoo therapy?
Oh man, tattoo therapy. We did a show for Spike TV. Tattoo therapy essentially is people go through lots of stuff and they want to commemorate or celebrate with the tattoo. And so there were three people who had some issues. One was a needle phobe, and he couldn't even go to the doctor. That was one of my patients. He could not go to the doctor with his grandfather who raised him. And his grandfather was starting dialysis, and he really needed him there for support. So he came onto the show. And my job was to help him get through that phobia. And so I prescribed a tattoo, and that's what tattoo therapy is. That we literally, people have problems, they come to us, and we prescribe a tattoo for them. And then we work with an inker, and we work together, and we tell them what's going on with them. And then therapy ensues, talk therapy ensues simultaneously with tattoo. Ink being inked, and it's a way of commemorating and celebrating what is going on. And believe it or not, there's something called the primary visual cortex, the occipital lobe in the brain. It's how we see. Well, whatever you're looking at can have an impact on you. You can see something, it can startle you, it can surprise you, it can enlighten you, right? It can excite you. That's what tattoo therapy does. Every single time when it's over, every single time they look at that tattoo, they will remember everything that they went through, the healing that happened during the talk therapy, the healing that happened as the needle was on their skin and the tattoo was being engraved into their arm or leg, wherever it is. And as a result, endorphins are released, and that brings on healing because endorphins are the body's natural painkillers. You see how it works? So there's the neuropsychology attached to what many people might just see as just getting inked. But I've never met anybody who had a tattoo that didn't say, God, my tattoo artist, he's kind of like my therapist too. I go there and, I relax and I just open up and start telling them all sorts of things. And a lot of times it can inform the shape and the artistry of the tattoo. We took it a step further and put the psychological phenomenon into it and created and the show was called Ink Shrinks. And so I've been doing the research on that ever since.
Interesting, very interesting. Gee
you can
whiz.
see it on YouTube.
I think you could we could learn a lot of things from you, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to close it now. Listen, Dr. Gabe, thank you so much for taking the time this morning to be on my show. Like I said, the reaction to your music is really extraordinary, and I really wish you all the best for Well, we got 3 months left before we hit 2024. So all the best for this year with your new music, and we're behind you. We just love it to pieces.
Wow, thank you. My family's thrilled, as am I. I appreciate you, Michael. You hear that, Jackie? He loves the music. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
Dr.
Michael.
Gabe. So listen, thank you very much for taking some time this morning. You have yourself a great weekend.
All right, you too, buddy.
Thank you
Take
so
it
much.
easy.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was Dr. Gabe from California. I think he was in Los Angeles talking about his new music. Really extraordinary personage with many talents and that we've talked about through the interview. So I've played it before, but I'm going to play it a second time this morning because this is just so extraordinary. This is Find My Father, new single, Dr. Gabe.
Another dime, 10 kids, too much time until I got you left. You take me off the floor as I scream, don't go, you're my dad, and I'm never letting go. But you just laughed at me and said, boy, I'm out the door. Been looking for my father, where you been? Looking for my father, this makes no sense. Daddy's not real concerned about me. Been looking for my father, where you been? Looking for my father, this makes no sense. Looking for my daddy, can't blame me. So until I got the strength to finally break free, won't somebody please help me? Find my father, my father. Find my father. Daddy, we ain't got no food to eat. Looking for the Lord. Find my father. Down the liquor store. My father. Daddy, no care. My father. Really ain't got no shoes to wear. Help me. Walk down the street. My father. Take a coat to see. My father. Daddy, we ain't got no food to eat. Looking for my father. Where you been? Find my father. Looking for my father. This makes no sense. Find my father. Looking for my dad.
Gee whiz, what do you say after a song like this? I have nothing to say. It is just extraordinary. Dr. Gabe and...